Good day, students. I am Mrs. Adiele, your English teacher from Federal Government College, Port Harcourt. I believe you are all doing so well. I equally know that most of you are so tired sitting at home. And meanwhile, I encourage you to keep safe because safety is the most important thing. Always wash your hands and try as much as possible to keep yourself away from crowd. COVID-19 will soon be a thing of the past and you will be back to school. I promise you that. So today we are going to study our lesson like we have been doing. And today's topic is going to be on adverb. That is an English language topic. That is what we are going to do. We have been studying previous lessons on parts of speech. We started with the noun to pronoun, verb, and so on. The previous lesson was on adjective, where I told you that adjectives modify nouns. But in the lesson today, we are going to consider adverbs. And in the course of this lesson, we have objectives that we want to achieve. So please, we want you to pay attention and note the definition of adverbs and try to identify them in sentences. Both in the sentences I'm going to provide here on the platform and the ones you will make or the ones you read from other books. I will equally want you to note the differences between adverbs and adjectives. And finally, I want you to note types of adverbs. There are about 7 of them in number, and they are not cumbersome. They are very, very simple things that you can note and identify them and use them. Yeah, we are going straight into the lesson now, and we want to ask ourselves the question, what is an adverb? An adverb modifies a verb. An adverb modifies an adjective. An adverb modifies other adverbs in a sentence. It describes how, where, or when an action is performed. Or simply, you may just say that an adverb is that word that explains the action in a sentence. An adverb explains the action in a sentence. I used to tell my students that an adverb could simply mean add something to a verb, which means an adverb has something to do with verb, just like an adjective has something to do with a noun. I have some examples here, which I am going to use to buttress my point. In the first sentence here, we have, he frowns angrily. He frowns angrily. Angrily is the adverb, and it modifies the verb frowns. She shouted loudly. Loudly is another adverb, which modifies the verb shouted. Joy is very excited. In this sentence, we may just say joy is excited, and when we say that, excited there means an adjective. But by placing very before excited means that we have brought in an adverb to modify the adjective excited. And thus we have the sentence, joy is very excited. Very modifies excited. So very is the adverb. Obi runs very quickly. This sentence can read Obi runs quickly. Quickly there is an adverb. But you can see that we have introduced very there to modify quickly, which is an adverb. So there we have an adverb modifying another adverb in that sentence. The kite flew right into the room. Right is the adverb modifying the prepositional phrase into the room. Yes, we may try here to find out ways we can form our own adverbs. And I've given you some adjectives here. I said before that the previous lesson we studied was an adjective. So from there I got some of these adjectives. And from it or from them you can form adverbs. And you can do that by simply adding suffixes like ly, ly, or wise, w-i-s-e, or ward, w-a-r-d. You can see the examples there, how I did them. Beautiful is changed to beautifully. Quick is changed to quickly. Swift is changed to swiftly. Careful can become carefully. Like can become likewise. Back can become backward when we want to turn them to adverbs. And I want to give you some more examples there that's in sentence. And I want to say John is beautiful. Beautiful in that sentence modifies John, which is the noun in the sentence. But we can go further to say John dresses beautifully. And when we say that, you can see that the emphasis is removed from the noun, which is John, to the verb, which is dresses. I take it again. John dresses beautifully. So beautifully is modifying dresses, which is the way, the manner he dresses beautifully. Beautifully. The manner of the dressing. And in like manner, we can use the other adverbs there to form our own sentences. We want to go further to types of adverbs. And like I said before, there are about 7 of them. And we're going to take them one after the other. The first one is adverb of manner. This one describes an action. Describes an action, tells us the manner of that action that takes place. So it answers the question how. How tells us how an action takes place. And we'll have examples like he speaks well. He speaks well. Speak is the verb. Then well is telling us more about speaks. He walks majestically. Walks is the verb. Majestical tells us how he walks. He walks slowly. Slowly tells us how he walks. He walks fast. Fast tells us how he walks. They passed easily. Easily there is telling us how they passed. Number 2, adverb of time. This adverb explains when the action takes place. Adverb of time explains when the time an action takes place. And so it answers the question when. They left yesterday at 3 p.m. They left when yesterday. They left when at 3 p.m. He needs the book now. He needs the book when? Now. He needs the book can be tomorrow, can be next year, time. But in this sentence, he needs the book now. Aggie has left already. Aggie has left when? Already. So already is the adverb of time. Number 3, adverb of place. This explains where an action takes place. Where an action takes place. So it answers the question where. Jane reads in class. Jane studies in class. Where? In class. That's the place where the action of reading or studying takes place. The boy swept the floor. The boy swept the floor. Where? The floor. The boy swept the floor. I looked everywhere, then I saw it there. I looked where? Everywhere. Then I saw it where? There. So in this sentence, everywhere and there are the adverb of time. The adverb of place, are the adverb of place where the action takes place. Number 4, we have adverb of degree, and this describes how much of an action that takes place at a particular time. How much of an action that takes place. At times, it is difficult to quantify actions, and that is why we have this adverb of degree. It helps us to quantify how much of an action that takes place. The examples I have here are almost, most, only, quite, very, rather. And in the sentence we have he was almost there. He was almost there. Sentence didn't tell us how many kilometers or how many poles away. He said almost. Almost. Was almost there. Was nearly there. He came rather early. He came rather early. So rather is modifying early. I slapped him very well. That sentence can read, I slapped him well. But here we have introduced very to tell us more about the degree of the action. Very. So very is another adverb qualifying the adverb well. Number 5, adverb of frequency describes how often an action takes place. How often? He saw me only once. He saw me how many times? Once. So once is an adverb of frequency. I seldom travel to Lagos. Seldom is an adverb of frequency. Seldom means hardly. Something you do not do often. I seldom travel to Lagos. Seldom is the adverb of frequency. He prays always. He prays always. So always is an adverb of frequency. I often read my book. I often read my book. Often is an adverb of frequency, explaining what I do all the time. I sometimes go to the market. I sometimes go to the market. Sometimes is an adverb of frequency. I occasionally tells him, well done. I occasionally tells him. I occasionally tell him, well done. Sorry. I occasionally tell him, well done. Or he occasionally tells him, well done. Occasionally there is an adverb of frequency. Number 6, adverb of interrogation. Here we use this to ask question. Interrogation means question. And I have examples like where, when, how. In other words, we can call these question words. We use them to start our questions. And I have questions here like where do you live? When did he sleep? Or when do you sleep? How is the dance? How is the dance? You can see the answers to those questions at the right hand side of your material. Where do you live? Aba. When did he sleep? At night. When do you sleep? At night. How is the dance? Gracefully. If you look at these questions and the answers provided, you will note that we have touched them initially when we talked about adverb of place, adverb of time, and adverb of manner. The first one gives us adverb of place. Where do you live? Aba. Adverb of place. That's the place where he lives. When did he sleep? At midnight. That's the time. Time. Adverb of time. How is the dance? Gracefully. Manner. This one is adverb of manner. Adverb of manner. Number 7, which is the last but not the least, is adverb of negation. Adverb of negation. And I have examples like not, no, never. We use this type of adverb to say things that actions that are not happening, actions that are not happening or did not happen. They are not here. No or no, he never saw it. I did not do it. He never did it. He never did it. So we have never, no, not as adverb of negation. These are the 7 types of adverb. But before we round up this lesson, we want to talk about the position of adverb. Most times, adverbs can be placed at the beginning of a sentence. Call it initial position or middle position or end position. I have examples here. Suddenly, he walked into the class. Suddenly, he walked into the class. Suddenly is the adverb there. But in the second sentence, I'm placing that at the middle of the sentence. He suddenly walked into the class. Then in the last sentence there, I place it at the end of the sentence. He walked into the class suddenly. He walked into the class suddenly. So the choice is yours. You have to choose where to place your adverb, whether at the beginning of the sentence, at the middle of the sentence, or in the middle of the sentence, or at the end of the sentence. we have come to the end of this lesson, but we are going back to refresh our minds on what we have done so far. We started with the definition of adverb, which we said it modifies the verb, adjective, or another adverb in a sentence, and it answers the question how, where, or when an action is performed, and we talked about how we can form our own adverb, using some adjectives. And we do this by adding ly, wise, or ward to adjectives in order to turn them to adverb. Then we went further to talk about types of adverbs, and they are just 7 in number. Adverb of manner, adverb of time, adverb of place, adverb of degree, adverb of frequency, adverb of interrogation, and the adverb of negation, which is the last but not the least. Then we rounded it off by talking about the position of an adverb, which can be at the beginning of the sentence, in the middle of the sentence, or at the end of the sentence. Yeah, we have come to the end of this lesson, and I have some work here for you to do for me. They are just about 9 in number, and I have an example there for you. I want you to pick out the correct adverb or adjective, as the case may be, in the following sentences. The first one is an example. Please do it right. And I have picked the word right, and I have identified it as an adjective. So I want you to do the same in the remaining 9 sentences. Number 1, he ran fast. Number 2, Mary acted cowardly. Number 3, he is cowardly. He is a cowardly soldier. Number 4, I occasionally go to church. Number 5, he came late. Number 6, he sleeps here. Number 7, stop at the junction, take the right turn. Number 8, he gave a quick answer. Number 9, he said it quickly. That's the end of the lesson. Don't forget to stay safe and remain blessed. Thank you.